Hey, how you doing? This is John and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Namor the Submariner. This was $1, came out in April of 1990. Jeez, I can't believe it's been so long ago. I realized I haven't talked about John Byrne in a while, so I figured I wanted to talk about John Byrne, so I grabbed this Namor comic. I just love this cover. That's just a classic cover. Out of the depths and into the 90s. All new, all different direction for Namor. And what is this? Demon Sword. This looks like a video game. Okay. So, yes, April 1990. This is the indicia. This is called the indicia. And that's where all the legal stuff is, like subscription rates and stuff like that, copyrights and everything. All right, so here we have the first page. It's not a splash page. I'm going to treat this video as if you are brand new. So this is not a splash page. A splash page is usually one panel, and it's usually the first page. But this is not a splash page. And this is John Byrne. All right, well, we didn't get to the credits yet. But here we have Caleb Alexander and Carrie Alexander. So that's Caleb, and that's his daughter, Carrie. And they have a ship, the Oracle. And they are just like salvagers. I wanted to say scavengers, but they're not. Okay. This is a two-page spread. It's also a splash page because it's one panel. But a two-page spread is it spreads across two pages, kind of in the title. And this is the Submariner leaping out of the water. This is John Byrne showing off. And look, he spent all of his time drawing this Submariner figure. Little boat over here, curvature over here. So, you know, he got a good two page rates out of this. It probably didn't take him that long. Okay, beginning a bold new chapter in the saga of the Submariner. Written and drawn by John Byrne, inked by Bob Wiak. Colors by Glynis Oliver, letters by Ken Lopez, Terry Cavanaugh, editor, Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. Okay, so this is after the Jim Shooter years. Okay, so here we have I just love John Byrne's clean drawing, and this is he was experimenting with like this new scratchy I think it was called duotone or zipatone, I forget what, but you could kind of see how there's like a dot matrix pattern in here, and I think don't quote me on it, but I think it was that it was the special paper, and you put like a chemical over it, and it releases like little dots ink, so it's like almost like instant shading. And John Byrne was big on it, big on using it in the Submariner series, and then he stopped using it, and the fans like, what are you doing? You know, comic book fans, and I'm one of them. We're kind of prickly, you know. We don't adapt to change too well. So here he is, Submariner's jumping out of the sea. He's freaking out. He's all weird. His recollection is fuzzy. And this is a Dream Machine car, and he meets these I don't know, what would you call them? Tribes people, primitive people? I don't want to insult anybody, but that's what he meets. And they don't like him. They think he's a demon. They're throwing spears at him, and he just goes berserkowitz. And John Byrne, he's sticking to like the old, slim, narrower Submariner. You know, the original Bill Everett Submariner. You know, look at the big ears, the slimmer filled. This is like the early Jack Kirby of Bill Everett Submariner. You know, the Submariner kind of got like hulked out after a while, but it's one of the like here's some like more modern. I think that's like a John Romita Submariner, but here we have you know, the John Byrne's taking it back. That's one thing he likes to do. He kind of returns things to their roots. So here's Submariner just going berserkowitz, and he's like, what's going on? You know, Prince Mariner, what's going on? This is Lady Dorma. The Lady Dorma, that was his original. I forget if it was his wife or girlfriend, and she was killed. And this is Marina, and I think they got married, and I think she ended up getting killed, and he's just hallucinating. Like, Dad, what's happening? And the father's like, I'm not sure, but I heard the names of his two dead wives. Yep. And he's speaking in his native Atlantean tongue, and I never mastered a few more words of that. Be careful, he's insane. So what's going on here? What's going on here? And Neymar talking to him. He's like, Oracle, with the ship the Oracle, and he's like, yes, that might mean something to you, doesn't it, Your Highness? And he's like, not Highness, just name. I'm an outsider. The outsider, the wanderer. Because I will trust you. He decides to trust him, and he takes him back, and he passes out. Now, why does he trust him? What's so big deal about the name of the Oracle? Well, Epilogue 2. Here's another splash page. Maybe I'll talk about the backstory. I think, okay. So here, they're going to talk about the origin of Namor. So he's a marine biologist. I said salvagers, but I was wrong. That's later on. I'll put that on pause. Strike that, reverse it, to quote Willy Wonka. So he's looking at this. So this guy's taking blood from Namor. And Namor now is recounting his origins. This ship, the Oracle, the icebreaker Oracle under the command of Leonard Mackenzie. So this was the original Oracle. This was an icebreaker. And they were dropping up ice caps. The method of this was they were using explosives to break up ice so that they could sail. And one of these did damage to Atlantis. Atlantis is everywhere. It's in the North Atlantic. It's in the South Atlantic. It's everywhere. Who knows where it is? Like, there's the continuity of where Atlantis has always been messed up. So I think John Byrne kind of said that they were like colony cities. Like, Atlantis is the name of the empire, and the empire has like cities and colonies all over the place. That's a good explanation as any. So these are the original Atlanteans. These bombs are wrecking everything. Remember, when you blow up a bomb in the water, what's it called? Static shock. It sends out waves out the water. It's very destructive farther away. So he sends his daughter, Princess Fen, up to investigate, and she gets aboard the ship. And his Leonard Mackenzie, they see these, and of course she's speaking Atlantean. And he falls in love with the mermaid. He's watching her swim, whatever. They get a little lovey-dovey, and he is eliminated by other Atlanteans who don't like humans, or don't like humans and Atlanteans mixing together. And there's cute little baby Namor. Look at that cute little baby. Goo goo. So that's his origin. So he's telling his origin. He's like, I already knew this because you saved me when I was a kid. Now Namor, he's a mutant. He's not human, he's not Atlantean, and he's not like either one of his parents. So he qualifies as a mutant. And one of his powers is longevity. He's been around. He fought in World War II. He was already like, I don't know, adult, maybe late teenager in World War II. So he's like 70, 80 years old at this point. And he's like, yeah, you saved me when I was a kid, and I've kind of been obsessed with you. That's why I named my ship the Oracle and everything like that. He goes, and I learned as much Atlantean language as I could. Okay, so here's his origin. He was a little kid, grew up in Harlem, because every black person in comic books grew up in Harlem. And, seeing all this stuff, seeing this parade, and unfortunately I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention to where I was going. And I hate licking my fingers and touching the comic books. And the kid, like kids will want to do, falls in this icy water, and Submariner saves him and brings him back. He even brings the bicycle back. Okay, so he's like, I don't expect you to remember any of this, but that was almost 50 years ago, and I have an unfortunate tendency of memory failure. So he's saying Namor's being uncharacteristically honest and forthright, that he's saying, I'm starting to realize that I have mental problems. Sometimes I can remember things, sometimes I can't remember things, vast mood swings. So it's like, indeed, there's much to think about. What does he say? Too bad Dad got a bad heart. He can't dive anymore. So I've been underwater eyes for the past 3 years. What about you now, Namor? The world thinks you're dead. Seems like my discoveries have given you a new lead. So he's basically offering Namor a job, and she's been doing the work of two people because her father can't dive anymore, and now he's recovering like sunken treasures. He's like, your business is suffering. Here's some money. Oh my gosh, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions. Where on earth? Because I see these all over the place. There's a whole bunch of ships. How much money do you want? I'll get you as much money as you want. You helped me, and now I'm helping you. So it's like, why are you helping me? And he's gonna buy the ship, buy the company, and he's gonna turn it to Oracle Investigations, and they're gonna be like scavengers in the sea. And of course, Submariner falls in love with her because that's one of his weaknesses. He falls in love at the drop of a hat. Him and Johnny Storm always fall in love. And this is like, what are they called? The Power Twins or something like that? They are the stereotypical super rich, spoiled brat twins, and they are going to be the bad guys. It's going to be like a bad businessman kind of thing. Like they're going to try to buy the stock in the company that Submariner's starting with the Calebs and himself. So there's a lot of business, a lot of undersea intrigue. And then Namor exploring a lot of like forgotten Marvel history. He brings back Spitfire from World War II, and like Union Jack, and a lot of the early characters that were from the Invaders and stuff like that. So it's what John Byrne does best. He revitalizes a character that was like kind of lagging. explores some Marvel, puts like a real world spin on it, and I thought he did a really good job mixing all of these elements of like Namor's past, like the Invaders, the actual Golden Age, stuff like that, and marries it into a great, compelling story for the night. This was excellent. And the series also, later on, has the fortune of being the first comic of Jay Lee, who became a superstar comic book artist. And it's funny because I almost dropped the comic when Jay Lee took over. I just couldn't get used to the disparities in the art. You know, this John Byrne, I've said this millions of times, him and George Perez, on any given day of the week, I'll say one or the other are the greatest superhero artists. Jay Lee is a great artist, but it's vastly different. You know, Jay Lee is like a new school, and I'll say like John Byrne is like one of the last of the old schools. You know, yeah. Keep in mind that, you know, I'm just talking. I'm not making hard and fast laws or anything like that. This is just, you know, things that my opinion. But let's get back to this. So in this particular issue, Caleb Alexander, he's the one that discovers that Submariner has an illness. He has a weakness. He has like a bipolar disorder. If he stays underwater too long, he suffers, and his brain doesn't get enough oxygen, and he goes berserkowitz, and then he comes out and he attacks the Earth. You know, he becomes a supervillain. So he needs to go out of the water for a while to get a balance. But the thing is, if he stays out of the water too long, he gets too much oxygen, and he goes berserkowitz, and he becomes a villain, and he attacks everybody. So Neymar mentally is of the ocean, of the sea, just like he is physically. So he has to go back and forth. He has to spend equal amount of time out of the water, equal amount of time in the water. If he spends too much time either place, he goes berserkowitz. And I love that because that explains all the disparities in Namor's personality. Yeah, like I said, John Byrne does a lot of like logical consequences, a lot of logical explanations of you know, a normal problem that you'd have with a character over 70 years of publication history. So, you know, every once in a while you need like a John Byrne to just coalesce everything and give us a good explanation. And I thought he did a wonderful job. I love this series. I think it went for, oh God, I'm going to say 62 issues. And John Byrne's a notorious diva, so he comes and goes, and I think he left, I don't know, 62 issues, yes. I don't know why he quit, but he's hard to please, and he'll storm off on the drop of a hat. When I show his She-Hulk series, I'll talk more about his diva behavior. So there you go. Here's a preview of something to come. But thanks a lot. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch my videos. I'm having so much fun doing this, guys. And some of you guys, when on my go to my Go 13 video and look at the comments that I just telling me about manga history and anime history, stuff that I don't know about. My commenters are the best. My follow subscribers are the best. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And you're giving me some good pointers of manga comics to read in the future. But thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. You guys are the best. Thank you.